Hi, this is Chase McWhorter, Managing Director of Institutional Investing and Infrastructure. Wanted to take this time to review kind of some key takeaways from 2019 and preview 2020. I'd like to do this just given where we sit in the market as a publishing firm, working with you, the investors, managers, consultants. We have a unique perspective, kind of a 30,000 foot view of the industry. So I wanted to just take a moment to review some of the key takeaways from conversations with you for both last year and the year moving forward. I'd say the first thing that really stuck out, deal flow. You hear a lot about a lot of dry powder out there, lack of deal flow, and I think there's kind of two ways to look at that. You hear some groups say that's not an issue, that they're not having issues putting capital to work. And on the investor side, I think you do hear some investors starting to get a little bit concerned about how much dry powder is out there. And in particular, I could reference a conversation that I thought was pretty telling for where the concerns stem from. And it was an investor discussing a presentation, client come in or prospective manager for them, and essentially had a case study of an asset that they had bought and fixed up, made it much better, and then sold it off at a high multiple. 2 months later, different manager came in that had bought this asset that was not fixed up. They were going to do some value add to it, improve it, and then they would sell it off. So same asset being looked at two different ways, and that kind of just set off some red flags for that investor in particular. Don't think that that's a common thing in the industry, or I think we would hope not, but at least something to keep an eye on. And then I think the second kind of recurring issue outside of deal flow being a problem is an issue in ESG. It's becoming more mainstream, more investors are adopting ESG standards, reporting to benchmarks, and what was brought up, essentially some issues with the reporting systems. Some of the benchmarks out there, their feeling is it doesn't take into account ESG at the foundation. With some of the reporting systems, you're more rewarded for, let's say, taking over a coal-fired power plant and fixing it up and making it more ESG compliant versus ground-up development of wind, solar, or something renewable. So just the way the scoring happens, ESG officers are digging in a little bit more granularly. I think overall, because these issues are getting more granular, ESG, deal flow, the way investors are scrutinizing things, I think an overarching theme for 2019, I feel like it was the same even for 2018, is just every year it seems like the investors are just getting more sophisticated, asking more in-depth questions, digging into the assets more, and all these reporting systems. So overall, I think while those are uncomfortable things to talk about, wanting to improve ESG reporting, deal flow, too much dry powder, I think the fact that their discussions are happening and not the discussions of what is infrastructure, I think that is a good thing. So overall, I think at a high level, the industry advancing forward, again, from our vantage point, it's a very good time. I know that's not groundbreaking given the amount of money that's being raised, but still good to know just that some of these issues, I think, are being vetted earlier rather than them becoming big problems. Looking forward to 2020, I think you're going to see more funds in the market, maybe not as much capital being raised, which I think is a good indicator of just more specialists coming into the market. Smaller funds being raised, maybe a shift from kind of the massive funds that kind of dominated 2019. You might see more smaller funds coming out with specified strategies, which I think is good. from an overall market perspective, I think the issues that come up with deal flow, I would hope that investors don't shy away, that deal flow does open up. And really, I think for us, IREI, I think it's good if we dig into this a little bit more and really try to find out where the bottlenecks are and how we could potentially help in whatever small capacity we can address some of these issues. Overall market, geopolitical, who knows? Everybody, I think, has their own opinions. Doesn't seem like much has transpired. I think there's a lot of chest puffing when it comes to trade deals, things like that. But again, I mean, there's people a lot smarter than I am that would have probably more advanced opinions on things like that. So that would wrap it up for this review for 2019, preview for 2020. Looking forward to an exciting year. Got some things that we're working on, and excited to work with all of you in 2020. Thank you, and talk soon.